Today we will be doing some yoga for the hips, and specifically doing some stretches or different postures that are really into this hips. You will be needed a strap. If you don't have a strap, that's totally okay. You can use a belt or anything that looks like a strap, but belt usually works good. You will also need 2 blocks, maybe not, but if you don't have any blocks, maybe using some books that you can stack. You might not need them, but just in case. I will also recommend to use a blanket that you can actually use for opening and closing Shavasana, but also we are going to go into frog pose, specifically for the hips, but you might want a little bit more cushion for your knees. So this is also a good alternative to have a blanket on your side. So here we go. We are going to start in a lay position in Shavasana, comfortably laying onto your back. Feet are about mat distance apart or wider, and just simply letting your feet naturally fall onto their sides. Your palms and arms are facing up onto your sides or slightly away, and gently letting those fingers naturally curl. And if this position doesn't feel comfortable for your lower back or any other reasons, maybe try to bend your knees and plant the sole of your feet mat distance apart, letting your knees fall into center. Tenting. Or perhaps you'd like to lay in a fetal position onto your right or left side. This is totally up to you. Remember that this is your practice, so it's important that you're listening to the cues that your body gives you and take the best and most comfortable position for this opening Shavasana. And just starting here by relaxing each part of your bodies, starting with the top of your head and the muscles of your face, relaxing the muscles of your jaw and your neck and throat, relaxing your shoulders and softening them, letting them fall heavy onto your mat. Continuing with the muscles of your arms and hands. And then starting with the top of your back and spine, your mid-back, and the muscles of your lower back. Relaxing your abdomen with each breath that you take. And relaxing your glutes, your pelvis, and your hips are nice and heavy into your mat. Relaxing the muscles of your legs and your feet. And then taking here a moment to let all your thoughts and expectations go. And letting go of anything that you have to do after this practice. Any to-do list that you may have in mind. Whether it's work, housework, or maybe schoolwork with the kids, or anything really, laundry or groceries, just taking time here for yourself. Trying to be present and in the moment for the next 60 minutes. Focusing on your well-being and letting everything that doesn't serve you go. I'm really trying to focus on your mental health, emotional health, and physical health. Maybe noticing the reoccurring thoughts and emotion. Maybe noticing if there's any tension in your body. And taking a deep inhale through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. Good, one more deep inhale through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. And perhaps you would like to set an intention for your practice. It could be a simple word like love, kindness, or strong. Or it could be a positive statement like I am calm and relaxed. Or perhaps today you would like to dedicate your practice to a loved one. Once you have chosen, please repeat it 3 times in your mind. And taking a deep inhale through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. One more deep inhale and exhaling. And slowly starting to lengthen your inhales and your exhales here. Perhaps inhaling to a count of 3 or 4 and then exhaling to the same count. So all together, taking a deep inhale to 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4, and exhaling to 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4. Again, deep inhale to 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4, and exhaling to 3 or 4. Again, deep inhale to 1, 2, 3, or maybe 4, and exhaling to the same count. This breathing technique, Samavriti Pranayama, or equal part breath, is not only available for you if you're finding yourself in a little bit of a more challenging posture. Try to count your breath and come back to your breath. Especially because today we are going to go into those hips. But also, if you find your mind wandering around, come back to your breath. Try to bring your mind and focusing into your breath and counting it again. Slowly turning your awareness back into your body by slowly wiggling your fingers and your toes. Perhaps circling your wrists and ankles. Maybe bending your elbows and your knees. And if it's okay on your neck, perhaps you'd like to slowly turn your head from side to side. And extending both of your legs onto your mat. The sole of your feet are reaching for the front of your mat. Sweeping your hands overhead. interlacing your fingers, and give yourself a big body stretch here. Perhaps stretching onto your right or left side. Perhaps yawning feels good as well. Maybe noticing if your lower back is lifting off the mat. And on your next exhale, drawing both knees onto your chest and hugging both knees nice and tight, rolling from side to side and making circles. Knees can be together or knees can come wide, which you might feel more into your hips. And then keeping that right knee onto your chest and extending that left leg long onto your mat. Now both of your feet are flexed here. Toes are pointing towards the sky. On every inhale, really pushing through that left heel so it reaches the front of your mat. And on every exhale, drawing that right knee just a bit closer towards your chest. You can choose to stay here or you can choose to move with your breath. On every inhale, drawing the right knee towards the right side, opening your hip. And on every exhale, bring it back to center. Just massaging your inner hip crease here on the right side. Left hand can come on your left hip to keep that hand onto your mat. Bending your left knee and planting the sole of your left foot onto your mat, grabbing your strap or your belt and placing it underneath the sole of your right foot. And then extending that leg long towards the sky. Hands are holding each side of the strap or belt. Now a couple of options here. You can on every inhale, pushing through the heel so it reaches the sky. And on every exhale, drawing those toes closer to your face. Or you can point the toes towards the sky, moving through the front fascia of your foot here. In any case, if you are feeling any pain behind that knee, just drawing the thigh closer to your chest instead. Also options to lower that left leg onto your mat to maybe feel a better sensation onto your right side. And then grabbing the strap into your right hand, left hand comes onto your left hip and slowly opening that right foot and leg towards your right side. Making sure that you're keeping that left hip onto your mat here. Right leg is nice and strong. Don't forget to breathe here. Deep inhales and exhales and slowly coming back to center. Grabbing the strap with your left hand this time. Right hand is coming onto your right hip. And dragging and bringing that right leg and foot towards your left side. Again, hand pushes your right hip into your mat. And again, if having that left leg lowered onto your mat is too much, or uncomfortable, bending at the knee and planting the sole of your foot onto your mat. Maybe you might feel different kind of stretch that we're not used to onto the right side of your right thigh. Into the IT bend. Coming back to center, unraveling, drawing both knees onto your chest and hugging both knees nice and tight. Again, knees together or knees wide, whatever feels the best. And then this time, keeping your left knee onto your chest and extending that right leg long onto your mat here. Both feet are flexed, toes are pointing towards the sky. On every inhale, really pushing through that right heel so it reaches the front of your mat. And on every exhale, drawing that left knee just a bit closer towards your chest. Maybe feeling an opening onto your right quad and right hip. Maybe a little compression onto your left hip. And you can choose to stay here, or you can choose to move with your breath. On every inhale, drawing the right knee toward the left knee towards the left side, opening your hip. On every exhale, coming back to center. Good, and bending the right knee, planting the sole of your right foot onto your mat. Again, grabbing your strap, hooking it underneath your left foot, and extending that left leg and foot towards the sky. Again, option here to touch the heel on every inhale towards the sky, and on every exhale, drawing those toes closer towards your face, or maybe pointing the toes towards the sky, moving through the front fascia of this foot. Exploring that posture. Perhaps if you need more sensation, extending that right leg long onto your mat. And then grabbing the strap into your left hand. Right hand come onto your right hip. And bringing that left foot and left leg towards your left side. Making sure your right hip is anchored into your mat here. Coming back to center and grabbing the strap into your right hand. Left hand come onto your left hip. And again, drawing that left foot and left leg towards your right side. Making sure that that left hip is anchored also into your mat. Perhaps feeling a strange sensation or stretch into your side of your left thigh here, into the IT bend. Coming back to center, unraveling. Bring both knees into your chest, rolling from side to side or making circles here. Good. And planting the left sole of your foot onto your mat. Knees bent. The right knee comes onto your chest and more towards your right shoulder. Right forearm comes to the inside of your right thigh, grabbing for the ankle or the outside edge of your foot. And then stacking your ankle over top of your knee, moving into half happy baby. Pushing your hand into your foot, foot into your hand, and drawing that knee closer to the mat here. Option to stay here, or option to extend that left leg long onto your mat. Good, and drawing both knees onto your chest, again hugging, nice and tight and rolling from side to side. And this time placing the right sole of your foot onto your mat, right knee is bent, left knee onto your chest, and bringing that left knee towards your left shoulder. Left forearm to the inside of your left shin, grabbing for your ankle or the outside edge of your foot, and then stacking your ankle over top of your knee. Moving to half happy baby on the second side. Again, pushing your hand into your foot into your hand to establish a co-contraction, and then trying to bring that knee towards your armpit or towards the mat. Again, you can stay here, or if you need more sensation, extending that right leg long onto your mat. Again, drawing both knees onto your chest, hugging them nice and tight, rolling from side to side. Two options for you here. You can either roll to your right or left side and pushing yourself into a seated position, or you can roll up and down your spine to come to a seated position. Once you are here, bringing the sole of your feet together onto your mat and letting those knees fall nice and wide. Holding your feet and maybe moving up and down a little bit your knees. Sitting up tall here. Nice long spine. Good. Coming back. And on your inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, trying to bring your chest just a bit closer towards your feet here. We're still early moving into the hips, so don't pushing too much, but enough so you feel sensation. Taking a deep inhale here. And exhaling, slowly stacking one vertebrae at a time to come all the way up. With the help of your hands, bringing your thighs and knees back up. Placing your hands behind you, feet hip distance apart, and windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Good. And then slowly making your way into a tabletop by swinging your legs out to the side and coming into a tabletop. So, you want your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips here. Spreading your fingers nice and wide. And we'll start by stretching the hip flexor first. So extending that right leg long behind you and slowly lifting that leg off your mat, flexing at the foot. Perhaps feeling a little stretch onto your hip flexor off the right side. We'll stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that knee back onto the mat. Moving to the second side, extending that left leg long behind you, flexing at the ankle and foot, and lifting that leg off your mat. And really pushing that heel towards the back of the rooms to feel a better stretch here maybe. Staying here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bringing that knee back onto your mat. Good. Moving through cats and cows. So on your inhale, dropping your belly towards the mat, gaze and tailbone go up. Exhaling, belly back in, relax your shoulders and your spine, gaze and tailbone down. Inhaling, dropping your belly towards the mat, gaze and tailbone up. Exhaling, belly back in, relax your shoulders and your spine, gaze and tailbone down. Good. 4 more rounds of full breath on your own pace. Really trying to connect your breath to your movement to your breath. Waking up all those muscles, the shoulders, the spine, the torso, the hips. Good, and after your 4th round of breath, coming back to a neutral spine or flat back, bringing your knees mat distance apart, big toes to touch. Sitting back onto your heels, walking your hands towards the front of your mat and letting your forehead rest heavily onto your mat here. I will be lifting up my head so you guys can hear me. But if your forehead doesn't quite make it onto your mat, perhaps placing your hands or stacking your hands underneath it, or maybe making fists with your hands, or maybe placing a block underneath it or books. Just any type of support. And if this is too much, if your arms extended in front of you are too much for your shoulders, bringing your hands towards your feet. This is a safety posture, so if at any time during your practice you feel that you need to come back to your breath or you feel a little bit overwhelmed, you're more than welcome to come back to this posture. And also if at any time during your practice you need to take a sip of water, I invite you to either pause the video and come back after, or however you want it. There will be some water breaks for sure. So taking a deep inhale through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. One more deep inhale, letting your belly go towards the mat here. Exhaling. Good, and fingertips are reaching for the front of your mat. Shifting your weight forward into a tabletop. Again, wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Spreading your fingers nice and wide. So there's two options for you here. You can either go to a downward facing dog and move with me through a modified flow or a full flow. If you want to skip the flow, you're more than welcome to do so and stay in downward facing dog, or staying in tabletop and engaging that core. Totally up to you. But if you're coming with me, moving into your downward facing dog, tucking your toes and lifting your sit up. Engaging that core, feeling yourself pushing away from the mat, shoulders away from your ears. Core engaged, and your tailbone is trying to reach for the mat. Now if you haven't done downward facing dog today yet, maybe moving and taking your dog for a little walk by bringing one heel after the other onto your mat. Perhaps coming high to the balls of your feet, bending your knees and bringing your torso closer to your thighs, and then attempting to straighten your legs here. If your heels don't touch the mat, that's totally okay. Then moving to a modified flow. On your next inhale, shifting your weight forward into a tabletop, into a plank pose, lowering your knees onto your mat and tucking your toes and engaging that core into a modified plank here. Exhaling, lowering down to chaturanga, and then all the way down onto your mat. On your next inhale, pressing through the shoelace part of your feet, lifting your chest up, really squeezing the muscles of your lower back and glutes. Bring your shoulder blades back together, little to no weight into your hands. Exhaling, forward fold up, coming back down onto your mat. On your next inhale, pushing through your hands to come back into a tabletop position, tucking your toes, lifting your sit up into downward facing dog. So again, you're more than welcome to skip the next flow, to move through a modified flow, or to start moving through a full flow with me. On your next inhale, shifting your weight forward into plank. Wrist underneath your shoulders, toe mat underneath your heels. There should be one straight line from the heels to the crown of your head. Everything is engaged here. Shifting your weight forward into your toes. Exhaling, lowering down to chaturanga, elbows to 90 degrees. Untucking your toes, inhaling, pressing through your hands to lift your chest up. Upward facing dog. Exhaling, pushing back to downward facing dog. Good. And for the next posture, again, two options. You can, if you are in tabletop, you can go into the next posture by lifting your right leg high behind you. And exhaling, stepping that foot in between your hands, helping it with your right hand as much as needed for it to come in between your hands. If you are in downward facing dog, same thing. On your next inhale, lifting your right leg high behind you, And exhaling, stepping that foot in between your hands, lowering that back knee onto your mat and tucking your toes. On your next inhale, lifting your chest up. Now, if you have any knee discomfort or knee injuries, please double your mat, place a blanket or a block underneath it, just to bring more support. Good. And then the hands are pressing onto your thigh, making sure they're not pressing your knee joint, but the thigh, and pressing your pelvis towards your mat here. Front knee comes over top of your ankle. Staying here for a round of 3 breaths. Good. And after your 3 breaths, bringing your hands to either side of your front foot and straightening that front leg by bringing your hips over top of your knee here. Now you can kind of play with that stretch by coming onto your heel or to keep the sole of your foot onto your mat. But on every inhale, lengthening your spine, and on every exhale, bringing your chest just a bit closer towards your thigh here. And then keeping your right hip towards the back of the room, left hip towards the front of the room. 3 breaths again. You should be feeling here a stretch onto maybe the hamstrings. Good. And after your 3rd breath, bending that front knee and walking your hands again to each side of your front foot. Now moving and walking that foot to the outside edge of your right hand and setting up for gecko. So you maybe should be feeling a compression onto your right hip here. And options here for you are to tap the toes and lift your back knee up to strengthen that back leg. Option to keep the knee onto your mat. Option to come onto one forearm, maybe both. Or maybe placing a book or some kind of support here for you. But in any case, you want your front knee over top of your ankle. And you want to push that knee into your biceps into knee. Establishing a contraction here. 3 breaths. Now, if you had an intention for this practice, maybe coming back to that intention during those next 3 breaths. Good, and after your 3rd breath, if you are onto your forearms, slowly coming back onto your hands. If your back knee is up, bringing your back knee back onto your mat, and then lifting those front toes up, moving that front foot to a 45-degree angle, placing your left wrist underneath your left shoulder, and right hand onto your right thigh, opening your hip onto the side. So if I come onto the other side, here, or lifting your toes, moving that foot to a 45-degree angle, left wrist underneath your left shoulder, right hand onto your right thigh, and rolling onto the little toe, back pinky toe here. Opening, making sure that your hand is not onto your knee but onto your thigh, and opening your chest towards your right side. Pressing your pelvis towards your mat here. 3 breaths. Good. After your 3rd breath, with your right hand, bringing back your thigh, knee to center, like if you're closing a book, and walking that foot in between your hands. Tucking your back toes, lifting your back knee up, and option to step back into plank, to move through a flow, to step back into downward facing dog, or to go back into a tabletop. Options for you. But if you you're moving through a flow, coming with me. On your next inhale, shifting your weight into plank, modified or flow. Shifting your weight forward, exhaling, lowering down to chaturanga. Inhaling to cobra or upward facing dog, and exhaling, pushing back to downward facing dog. Good. We'll be moving to the second side. So again, options to move from downward dog or from tabletop. In any case, on your legs, inhale, lifting your left leg high behind you, and exhaling, stepping that foot in between your hands, helping it as much as needed with your left hand. Lowering that back knee onto your mat and untucking your toes. Again, any knee discomfort, placing a block, blanket, or doubling your mat. And on your next inhale, lifting your chest up. Again, you want your front knee over top of your ankle, hands coming to your thigh, pushing your pelvis towards your mat here. 3 breaths. And making sure that your hips are squared towards the front of your mat. Good. After your third breath, hands to either side of your front foot and straightening that leg by bringing your hips over top of your knee. Again, options for you here to come onto the heel or the sole of your foot. Kind of play around and see how the stretch changes when you change the angle. But in any case, on every inhale, lengthening your spine, and every exhale, bringing your chest closer to your thigh, just 1 millimeter closer. Keeping your left knee slightly back, left hip slightly back, right hip slightly forward. Good. And then bending your front knee, moving your hands to either side of your front foot. And this time, walking that front foot to the outside edge of your left hand. Setting up once again for gecko. Now you want your front knee over top of your ankle. Option for you again to tuck your back toes and lift your back knee up to strengthen that back leg. Or maybe bring that knee onto your mat and maybe feeling a better stretch onto your right quad. Again, options to come onto one forearm, maybe both, or maybe placing a block or book or support underneath it. But really pressing that pelvis towards your mat, pressing your left knee into your left biceps into knee, to establish a palm contraction. And staying here for about 3 breaths. Now, working the hips can be very emotional, like we're holding a lot of sensation into our emotions into our hips. So things might be coming up. That's totally okay. And like the beginning of the class, letting those thoughts and emotions come, maybe visualizing it, but letting them go. Don't hold them onto it. And after your third breath or so, if you're onto your forearms, slowly coming back onto your hands. If your knee is up, lowering that back knee. And then again, changing the angles, bringing your toes, your left toes up, moving that left foot to a 45-degree angle, opening that knee to the side. Now, right wrist underneath your right shoulder, left hand onto your left thigh, opening, and pushing that pelvis towards your mat, opening your chest towards the left side. Staying here for 3 breaths. And after your third breath, with your left hand bringing your thigh back to center, like if you're closing a book, walking that foot in between your hands, and your choice to step back into plank, downward facing dog, or tabletop, depending if you want to stay in a static position or if you would like to move through a flow. If you are moving through a flow, starting from downward facing dog, and on your next inhale, shifting your weight forward into plank. Full or modified, your choice. Shifting your weight forward, exhaling, lowering down to chaturanga. Inhaling to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling, pushing back to downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, gaze goes to the top of your mat. Exhaling, step or walking between your hands into a forward fold. On your next inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling, forward folding. Inhaling, coming all the way up, fingertips to the sky. Exhaling, hands come down through heart center. Hands onto your side. And taking a sip of water here. And rolling back in a standing position in Tadasana. Good. If you need a bit more time, you're more than welcome to pause the video and come back to it when you're ready. Otherwise, we'll move into our tree pose. So bringing your hands onto your hips and really grounding that right sole of your foot onto your mat, right leg. Kickstanding the left sole of your foot onto your ankle, keeping that knee towards the back of your mat or back of the room, but making sure that your hips are still square to the front. Now you can stay here. This is a great way to feel your hip opening. If you need a bit more, you can come onto your calf or all the way to your thigh. I personally feel that when I move up, I feel less the opening into my hip than if I'm here, but this is totally up to you. Hands can come onto your heart center, or you can grow your tree. And again, staying here for about 3 breaths. Core is engaged. Good. Bringing your hands at the top of your head, and hands come down to your heart center. Hands onto your hips, pulling that knee in front of you and stepping down. Shake it out. Good. Moving through the second side. So grounding through the left sole of your foot, left leg. Kickstanding the right sole of your foot onto your left ankle. Again, keeping that knee towards the back, but noticing how when I keep that knee towards the back, my hips are moving as well. So keeping that knee towards the back, but moving those hips towards the front again. And then staying here, coming onto your calf or all the way to your thigh. Hands can come at heart center or towards the sky. And again, staying here for 3 breaths. And hands come at the top of your head. Hands come down through your heart center, pulling that knee in front of you and stepping down. Good, shake it out. For the next posture, we'll be going into a malasana or yogi squat. So bring your feet at a 45-degree angle. We'll be lowering down onto a mat. You might want to readjust when we get down. So hands can come onto your hips or a heart center, wherever it feels the best. And feet at a 45-degree angle, a little bit wider than your hips here. And then slowly lowering all the way down into a nice squat. Then you might want to readjust by bringing your hands onto your mat and then readjusting the stance of your feet here. You want to be comfortable. Now if this is not the case, if your heels don't touch your mat, maybe stacking blocks or a blanket underneath it, or maybe stacking books, or maybe stacking them underneath your hips here. Totally up to you, trying to adjust your stance. And if you need more time, again, pause the video, try to get into it, and then come back. Once you're ready and once you have found that posture, bring your hands at the heart center and your elbows into your thighs, thighs into your elbows. Pushing one against the other. Opening that chest. Having a long spine here, lengthening that spine and pulling that chest and heart in between your shoulders. Good. Now you can kind of sway from side to side if you like. You might feel a nice compression into your hips. And once we're done with that posture, bring your hands onto your mat and slowly sitting. Now we'll be going into frog pose. So for frog pose, you want to come from a child pose. So knees nice and wide and big toes to touch here, sitting back onto your heels here. So for this posture, we will be laying onto the side of our knees. So making sure you're coming towards more the back of your mat and there's enough space for you to roll on it, or maybe placing a blanket underneath your heels. Now, slowly walking your hands towards the front and moving your weight forward. Now, placing your ankles underneath your knees here, and feet are pointing towards the side. You can stay here, or you can widen the stance in between your knees. You can come more forward and lowering onto your forearms. Kind of feel where it feels the best. But you should be, or maybe feeling a stretch onto your hips here. You can also move your weight from forward to back. And again, taking about 5 breaths here. Readjusting as you need during those 5 breaths. And after your 5th breath, slowly coming back up. And there's no really gracious way to come out of that posture, so do your best. Good. And then moving to cradle the baby. So for this posture, you can either keep your left leg long onto your mat, or bring your left heel to your right glute. And then bringing your sole of your foot to your elbow here, and your knee into your right elbow. And we'll just like cradle the baby a little bit here. And sitting up tall. Moving from side to side. Good. And slowly lowering that foot onto your mat. Again, either having your leg extend or the right glute to your left heel. And then left sole of your foot to the inside of your right elbow. And knee to the inside of your left elbow. Perhaps holding hands, perhaps holding the shin. Then Slowly moving like if it's a baby from side to side. Sitting up tall once again, a long and nice spine. I'm sorry. Good. And then releasing the baby and the sole of your foot onto your mat. For the next posture, bringing your right shin parallel to your mat here. Foot is flexed, toes are pointing in the same direction as your knee, more or less. And then stacking your left shin over top of your right shin. Again, foot is flexed. Now, this might not be your knees. You might need some block or some support. So if you find that this knee already is hovering too much, placing some block here underneath it. And then bringing your other shin parallel. Your ankle is over top of your knee. Now if you're feeling that, again, this knee is too much, placing some books or some types of support in between. If this is not the case, just bringing your shins on top of another and sitting up tall. Now, if you have blocks, stay here. If you are like me and both shins are parallel and you don't really feel much of a stretch, you can come into a forward fold. So on your inhale, lengthening your spine, and on your exhale, slowly walking your hands in front of you. Until you feel enough sensation. You might feel sensation into, not in the hamstrings, but into your outer thigh here on the left side. This is a really good stretch also if you have any sciatica issues. I'm staying here for 3 more breaths. And if you are into the forward fold, taking a deep inhale and exhaling slowly, coming one vertebrae at a time, just come all the way up. Good. Unraveling. Bring your hands behind you, feel about hip distance apart or wider, and just windshield locker your knees from side to side here. Good. Coming back to center, and we'll do the second side. So again, shin parallel to your mat, and foot is flexed, toes are pointing towards the front here. Again, placing a block underneath your knee and thigh if you need it. And then bringing your right ankle over top of your left knee. And again, if you're feeling this is too much of a gap, there is no support, placing some type of support here. It might be different from one side to another. So one side you might not need any support, and the second side you might. Just allowing those differences to be. But if you are, again, on this side, nice and supported, and you don't need any blocks or any books, and you want to go into the forward fold, on your inhale, lengthening your spine, exhaling, walking those hands in front of you, trying to keep a straight back. And here you might feel the pull or a sensation onto your right outer thigh. Staying here for 3 breaths. And after your third breath, slowly coming back up. If you're in the forward fold, and again, unraveling, hands behind you, feet hip distance apart or wider, and windshield wiper your heels from side to side. Good. And then slowly making your way down onto your back, keeping those knees bent. Good. Palms of your hands are facing down onto your mat. And on your next inhale, really engaging that core and the glutes. And lifting your sit up here. Weight is in your shoulders here. Now, if you have a block, you might want to place the block underneath your lower back or glutes. And bring your hips back onto it. If you don't have a block, maybe making L's, L shape with your thumb and fingers, and placing them underneath your hips here to bring more support. And we can stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feeling the opening into your hips here. Lifting them up one last time, and then slowly lowering one vertebrae at a time to come all the way up. If you have a block underneath your hips, lifting your hips up, removing the block, and then slowly lowering one vertebrae at a time. Good. And then bringing both of your knees into your chest. Hugging both knees nice and tight, rolling from side to side. And then bringing your right knee towards your right shoulder, left knee towards your left shoulder. Your forearms goes to the inside of your shins, grabbing for your ankle or feet, and then stacking your ankle over top of your knees. And this time moving into full happy baby here. Now again, couple of options. Hands pushing into your feet, feet into your hands, and then trying to bring those knees towards your armpit or towards your mat. Maybe extending one leg, maybe the other, maybe both. Or maybe rolling from side to side to massage the upper layers of your back here. In any case, this posture is called happy baby. So try to be playful, being happy. If you are practicing with someone, maybe exchanging a smile. Good. And when you're ready, bringing your knees back onto your chest, hugging them nice and tight. And then slowly releasing the sole of your feet onto your mat, but together, bring those knees nice and wide. Moving into reclined butterfly here. Now again, if this posture is a little bit too much or too uncomfortable, maybe making fists with your hands and placing them to the outside edge of your thighs. Or maybe if you have a block, placing blocks or books or any type of support. And otherwise, hands can come onto your belly, onto your sides, overhead, or you can make snow angels with your arms until you find the perfect position for them. We will be staying here into reclined butterfly for about 2 more minutes. Feeling that nice big hip opener here. Now if it's too uncomfortable, you're more than welcome to windshield wiper your knees from side to side, by bringing your feet mat distance apart. Or you can move to your final Shavasana. This is totally up to you. We're trying to slow down or practice slowing down our breath. Perhaps softly closing your eyes or softening your gaze. I'm just feeling nice and heavy here. Perhaps focusing your mind onto your breath. If there's lots of thoughts or your mind is wandering around. Once you're ready to move to your final Shavasana with the help of your hands, bringing your thighs and knees back up, walking your feet to the outside edge of your mat. The mat is apart and slowly windshield wiper your knees from side to side. And once you're ready to move to your final Shavasana, slowly extending one leg after the other onto your mat. I will be sitting up to guide you guys. But if you need to take a sip of water or to wear any sweater or socks before your final Shavasana, I encourage you to do that now before you're getting into your posture to get rid of any little thing that might bother you. But once you are ready, feet come about mat distance apart or wider, and just letting those feet naturally fall onto their sides. Your palms and arms are facing the skies onto your side or slightly away, and letting those fingers curl naturally. If this position doesn't feel comfortable for your lower back, maybe trying to bend your knees and plant the sole of your feet onto your mat, letting those knees fall into center. Or perhaps laying into a fetal position onto your right or left side, or maybe onto your belly. Or maybe if you have a block, you would like to place that block underneath your head for more support. Or perhaps covering you with a blanket. This is your practice. Trying to be the most comfortable into that posture is really the key. Trying to listen to the cues of your body, telling you maybe how you would like to lay. But once you have found that perfect, comfortable position, I invite you to softly close your eyes or to soften your gaze. And like at the beginning of the class, letting all those thoughts go, all those to-do lists, letting them go. You can contemplate them, but not holding on to them. Let's try to stay in our little bubble away from the busy outside world for just a bit longer. if you had an intention for your practice, and if you would like to keep that intention for the rest of your week, perhaps repeating that intention 3 times in your mind and then letting it go. If you have dedicated your practice to a loved one, perhaps repeating that name 3 times in your mind and then letting it go. We are going to take 3 deep inhales to release our breathing technique that we might have had today. So taking a deep inhale through the nose and really filling your belly with air. Exhaling through the mouth. Again, one more time, taking a deep inhale through the nose and filling that belly with air. Exhaling, let it go. One last time, deep inhale through the nose. And exhaling, sigh it out. And slowly letting your natural breath to come back. And I invite you to go through a mental scan of your body today. Try to relax and release each part of it. Relaxing your toes, the top of your feet, and the sole of your feet. Relaxing your ankles, your shins, and your calves. Circle your knees. Relaxing your thighs, and your hamstrings are softened and relaxed. Relaxing your glutes, your pelvis and your hips. Relaxing the muscles of your lower back, and your abdomen is softened with each breath that you take. Relaxing the muscles of your mid-back, your rib cage, and the area of your heart. Relaxing your fingers, the top of your hand, and the palms of your hands. Relaxing your wrists, your forearms, and your elbows. Relaxing your biceps and triceps. Relaxing your shoulders, softening them as you allow them to fall heavy onto your mat. Relaxing the muscles of your upper back, your chest, and your neck. Softening your face, softening your eyes and your eyelids, and deeply relaxing that space in between your eyebrows. Finally relaxing that jaw or the muscles of your jaw by slightly opening your mouth. knowing that there is absolutely no rush today. I encourage you to stay in your final Shavasana and enjoy that posture for as long as you want to or as long as you need to. But once you're ready to move out of your Shavasana and out of your posture, please start moving slowly as a sign of respect towards your body and yourself. Thank you so much for stepping up on your mat today and practicing. If you have any questions or concerns or any comments, you can leave a message below the video. From the bottom of my heart, I bow to each and every one of you. Namaste.